Hey, IHP family, and we're so happy you are joining us today. We just want to give some context behind this episode. It's not like our usual episodes. We're kind of fun and laughing and playing. It was heavy today. Just to give you guys some background, we've been feeling a lot of the weight of life, family, church, everything in between. And this is one of those moments that we got real. We just hit 49 episodes, this one today, and we just want to give you some backstory.
So in other words, life has been lifing, and it's been an overwhelming experience the past couple weeks, I'll say. And so we sat on the couch, we pressed record, and we were as transparent as I think that we've ever been. And it became a situation where encouraging ourselves became encouraging you guys, letting you know you're not alone. You will never be alone. We're human. Yes, we have our ups where we're laughing and we're joking, but today was a let it out or I won't be okay. And yeah.
So let's get into the episode, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to In Herself Podcast,
where we talk about faith, family, finance, and friendship.
So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on all social media platforms.
And make sure to turn your notifications on to be notified whenever we post new content. Now straight to the episode. That was a great conversation. We should probably talk about that today.
Which one?
What? Feeling like, okay, so boom, you got a business. You just starting your business. It's the first year. First 3 months, whatever it is, you good at doing it. You've been doing it all your life. Or just, you're naturally good at it, but you feel unqualified. You walk into a room because you have to sell yourself. You have to sell whatever you're doing. You want people to buy into your product or service, but you have this thing in your mind where you feel like you ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Right? Why you feel that way? Because you comparing yourself to somebody who has been doing it better, longer, stronger than you, whatever. Naturally, our innate ability is to second guess ourselves because you don't have receipts, because you don't have what qualifies you to do.
It's a root of feeling like that my whole life, though. Like, you're not good enough. So in this area, you definitely ain't going to be good enough because look how many people made it. Or that
or fear of failure.
Yeah. So,
but then you have these people. Can we be real? Then you have these people who are running a country right now, an entire country, trying to change the names of oceans. Okay, walking into the Oval Office with no political science, no degree in it, just ran a business on their own, up and downs, and they run the country with confidence. And guess what they're gonna do? Figure it out on the fly. We figuring out how to run a country on the fly. And you're scared to walk into a room of 5 to 50 people and command your stance, command your stage.
And let's not forget, you've been in this level of business. You just hadn't created your own business. You've been doing it. So you have experience in it. They don't have none. Nobody was in the Senate. Nobody ran the House. Nobody did any of these things. But you have been in, whether it's real estate, whether it's makeup, for years. And when it's time for you to create your own business, you like, oh no, I'm not qualified enough.
Even if you haven't done it for years, you could have just started to take it serious for the last 30 days. But it comes naturally to you. It's your natural gift and ability, but you see it as something because it's natural to you. It's like, nobody's going to pay me to do that. It's how you view yourself. The lack of confidence is what it is.
Yeah.
And here, I would never forget that as long as this man walked into the Oval Office with his son on his shoulders. And that son looked at Trump and said, "You are not the president."
Yes.
Who the president then?
My daddy. My daddy is the president. You know why? Because he told him that. So how about we change the narrative and tell ourselves,
who the president?
Who the president?
Of your business.
Who the CEO?
Of your life.
Yes.
Do you understand?
And make it work that way.
And make it work that way. Like, you have to have a level of confidence and own your space, own your creativity, own who God has created you to be. And even if you don't have it right, figure it out on the fly.
I think that's the thing. People fear of failure. You're scared to figure it out on the fly. Because if I get up there and I start flying and my wings don't work, then what?
Then you figure it out still.
Right. I think about how because I used to watch Animal Planet and stuff like that. So when the mama has the baby bird, the mom goes out and flies to show the baby bird, this is how you do it. They pretty much push the babies out there. There's no, let's do a training method. There's no none of that. So yes, they fall and they continue to fall, but the mama's like, you gonna keep up because you don't want to lose me. So then they begin confidence and they say, okay, I did fall one time, but let me try it again. They just do it and they do it and they do it and they do it until now that's all they know. I know how to fly. And so I think about that on the humanistic side of we're gonna fail. It's a part of the process, so to speak. But failure isn't always a bad thing because that's how you learn from it. If the bird didn't learn, okay, if I don't pick my wings up to this level, I'm gonna fall, they would have never got to the point where they can fly freely, if that makes sense.
Because what you were afraid of happened, but it didn't kill you.
Yes.
What you were afraid of happened. Yes, you lost that contract. Yes, you didn't know how to input this or how to do the books this way or how to file your taxes properly. And yes, you may have gotten audited, but did it kill the business?
Right.
It didn't kill it. It made it stronger because now you know preparation of what you need to do going forward. You will never know it all.
Right.
And so people who tagging what you just talked about, the bird, for some, and I'm gonna speak for myself, I don't have a mama bird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have somebody to push me out. I have to look and say, jump, encourage yourself and do it.
Yeah.
And so if you waiting for the wind to blow a certain way, if you waiting for the starvation to start setting in, if you waiting for your nest to eventually give and you won't jump, then you will stay in that nest forever. And eventually you will starve if you don't make the jump. And nobody is around to teach you how to fly. But you know you was created for this.
Yeah.
Because I got wings.
Right. They're not just here.
They're not just here. I'm not just here just living and just because I'm inhaling and exhaling oxygen. No, I know I have that burden without a leader, without a mentor, without anything. If you look on the inside, you look around you and say, okay, so I got wings, I got a beak, how am I supposed to survive? I know there's life beyond this tree. What you were created to do is pushing you to that. Even if you don't feel like you have somebody, a mentor or somebody to say, this is how you do it. But baby, when you do jump and when you do feel like you're falling down, and you start to flap your wings and when you feel like you're getting tired, here comes the wind to carry you and you keep going. And when you get confident enough to be able to fly on your own, now you become the mentor.
Yeah.
Now you become to somebody what you didn't have. Now you have children and nieces and nephews and friends that say, I ain't have it, but I'm going to be what I didn't have for you.
For you. And I'm going to show you that you have built-in tools.
And it comes innately. And don't be afraid to jump.
It's faith. Because I'm going to jump. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it across. I don't know if I'm going to fall on these rocks. I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's faith. You don't know. And if we say we trust the God that created everything and all things, then we know that when we jump, he's going to be there to say, all right, you use your faith. Now here we go.
And sometimes, just piggybacking again, circling about this story with this bird, you may not have a mentor, but you see other birds flying.
You do.
Sometimes you're sitting in the nest, you're saying, well, what's that over there? I see something in the air and I don't know exactly what it is, but they look like me. That look like my tribe. That looks like, I can't see, it's blurry a little bit, but we all up here together. It's just that they out there and I'm over here. So why not try that try on the inside of you? It keeps calling you. And that's why I keep getting up. That's why I keep pressing myself, why I keep going. It doesn't matter. Like you put this in me. I read a book recently. It was an awesome book, Dream Giver. And I highly recommend it. It's spoken to another place in my life that I didn't even know needed to be spoken into.
Yeah.
And it just talked about how we have dreams and the dream giver gives you a dream. But if you get caught up in this place of familiar, you won't go past the place of the unknown and this wall of fear. And you have these border bullies who are familiar people, who are your mama and your best friend and your uncle and people that you know because they never went past where you're going, and you're pushing them past their comfort zone and it's making them uncomfortable, but you got to get past all these things. And I saw me all up and through that, because what I'm doing in my life and my family, I don't see anyone else doing it, especially my immediate family. And I've been told so many times, you're doing too much and you're doing this and you're doing that. But it makes so much sense to the one who gave it to me, because I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't praying about it, if I wasn't in my closet. And every day I have to choose to jump. That's the thing. People think that we were talking about this morning. We were talking about the alphabet, and from the letter A, the letter B, the letter C. And in our lives, these letters are monuments.
Yeah.
You have letter A, letter B, letter C. And when you're a child, the teacher is instructing you saying, this is the letter A. You have words that start with letter A. At the beginning of the alphabet, you have to always start with this letter.
You have to.
That's what we are taught.
Right.
Because the teacher said it, it's law. The world goes by it, it's A.
Yeah.
We're not talking about no other language. We're talking about English.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's A. The next letter is B. But you have to become so familiar with A to understand what B looks like, what it sounds like, what words start with it. You're learning about B. In our life, we don't understand the distance between A and B. Mm-hmm. I'm be more simplistic. We have years. You have 1 year, you have 2 years, you have 3 years. Number 1 lines up with letter A.
Right.
Number 2 lines up with letter B. Number 3 lines up with letter C. In our life, we spend so much time trying to get to 1, 2, 3 that we miss the in-between. How far is 1 from 2? Put years on it.
Right.
If you're 1 year old, you have 364 days before you get to 2. But we miss out on those years.
Running to 2.
On those days running, trying to get to phase 2. When we read the Bible, we are understanding the highlights, the high points of their lives, but we miss out. What did Jesus do his teenage years?
Mm-hmm. What did Moses do, like we talked about?
What did Moses do while he was being raised in this palace? We know the high points of what he did, but there were in-between spaces. And those in-between spaces are oftentimes longer than the high point. When you get an award, you get an Oscar, your birthday, those moments last seconds, an hour, 30 minutes. But how long did it take you to get to that 1 minute or those 5 minutes of fame, that one reel that hit 1 million, that you got, that lasted moments.
Yeah.
But you miss out on the time that it took to get there. We don't talk about the in-between spaces.
Don't talk about the process at all.
You don't talk about the days that, how long were you depressed? Mm-hmm. How long did it feel like you had to talk yourself off of the ledge that you can make it and you shall live and not die? How often did you have those low moments, those incredible encounters with God where he opened your eyes and he pushed you? We don't talk about those spaces.
Are we afraid? Are we disappointed? Are we ashamed? Because sometimes those in-between moments, not sometimes, there's no glitz and glamour. There's no, oh my gosh, look at me. There's the depression. There's the, whoa, it's me. There's the, I don't think I'm going to make it to my number 2. It's so many things that go on in that journey. So I think that we say, I won't talk about it, but look where I am now. And I think we have to change our perspective to say, so many people will make it out to number 2 if you say this is what it looked like between 1 and 2. We do that a lot with each other. You see them, we celebrate the monumental moment. We do. And there's so much excitement behind the monumental moment because we know what happened in the process. I'm not afraid to say, I'm not well right now. You're not afraid to say, you don't look well. I'm not afraid to say, you don't look well either. What's going on in the process? So that when we get to the promise, when you get to the victory, it's like, oh, I see why. I see why you crying tears right now. I see why you yelling and screaming. I see why these 5 moments feel like 50 years because the process felt that long.
Because it was.
Because it was.
Because it was. And embracing, that's what our mentors are saying is it's the journey to get to 2. It's the journey to get to 3. Don't miss out on the steps between.
Yeah.
Because all of those things make us, when we get to year 30, when you turn 25, when you turn 35, when you turn 32, you can look back and say, I didn't miss out on the steps.
Yeah.
I'm learning in this process. And now the old, they know the way. They know how to get there because they embraced those moments. If Harriet Tubman didn't remember what steps she took to get to the underground of that Underground Railroad, how was she was going to be lost. Embracing these moments and it being okay. Who told us that it wasn't okay to feel? Who told us that you were always supposed to be, shake it off and da-da-da? Yeah, but why do you feel that way? Because I'm trapped inside of a human flesh.
Yeah. I know for me, I'm gonna be honest and transparent, growing up, it was, okay, you crying. Get over it. We got to figure out what the next step is, and I'm all for that, right? But if I don't feel, I'm going to always carry it throughout the next step, and then I won't appreciate it when I get to where I think I'm supposed to be. I won't appreciate that moment because I'm still in my feelings about what's going on and how did I get here and why did I get here? I am such a big advocate of sit in your feelings for a moment. Feel how you feel. And then progress. Don't stay there long. But feel how you feel.
For me, I've learned that it's about understanding that feeling may never go away.
Yeah.
And how do I do life with it? Because sometimes that just may be your cross.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that may just be your weight. But I'm not going to let it easily beset me. I'm going to put it on a cross of my altar. It's my cross to carry. It's my burden to bear, right? But understanding that I'm not carrying it alone.
Right.
What is my cross? I never knew that I would have to do life from 27 for the rest of my life without my mama.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to convince me that it gets easier with time. I will say that it gets more bearable with time, but easier. It's still prominent. I still remember.
Mm-hmm.
Those are still things, but it has not crippled me. If that makes sense.
It does.
But if I didn't understand what that feels like, if I didn't embrace that moment and say, yes, this hurts.
You wouldn't have been able to move forward with that.
Because I'm living a facade.
Exactly.
And I'm faking it until I'm making it. And then what I have is not a true experience because I don't understand myself. I can't have an intellectual conversation with you and say, you know what? I can cherish now the good times. I can see God in the midst of what happened and leading up to the life. I can go back and testify of my upbringing and my testimonies that I have and say, you know what? God is still faithful.
Yeah.
He's still good. Because let me tell you, this is why the good outweighed the bad. Because looking back when I was depressed and when I was feeling like I was by myself and wasn't going to make it and the world had ended, to me, The world stopped to me. And there are so many people that are in the world right now where the world has stopped at the place of your last breakdown.
Yep.
You said, I'm done. You may not have confessed it with your mouth, but the way you're living, you have given up.
Yeah. And you know, I think about when people get to the point when they give up and then they're ready to go to therapy and spill. To me, therapy is the avenue and the gateway of I was never able to talk about my feelings anywhere else. So I held on to all of these feelings, all of this trauma, all of this emotion, and I'm sitting down in front of one person and I just get to spill. Because why? The therapist isn't going to say, just get over it. They say, no, in order to move past it, you have to acknowledge it. So that's what we do. I'm acknowledging my feelings. I'm acknowledging that I'm hurt in this moment. I'm acknowledging that I'm sad. I'm acknowledging that I'm overwhelmed. I'm acknowledging that I don't feel good. And then I can say, well, like you said, how do I deal with it and still move forward? But if you never acknowledge it, you'll end up in a therapy room or you'll end up in front of your friends just spilling and spilling and spilling and spilling and spilling. They say, where did all this come from? Well, I never really sat down and acknowledged that I've been dealing with trauma since I could talk. And so that's how I look at all of these things in the aspect of you have to talk.
And you know, another reason that they feel comfortable is because they're told that it's okay.
Yep.
That you are not alone. You are in a room that's safe. A space that sees you. A space that can identify with you. A space that can call out that it is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
A space that can give it a name. And at the end of the day, a space that gives you understanding.
Yeah.
Because all of us just want to be understood. And when the enemy makes us feel like what we're going through, we are alone and we're by ourselves and nobody gets us, if he get us by ourselves long enough, that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yeah.
Looking back on this podcast, this is episode 49, and I will not cry. Oh my gosh. We started this saying,
It's okay.
that everything that we have gone through and where we are going, we are not by ourselves.
Yeah.
That there are so many other women who are struggling by themselves and not feeling like you have family or friends or loved ones or husbands or wives that can relate to you. And starting at 27 and 21 and 19, that we are so much alike, but the enemy tries his best to make us feel like we all are so different.
Yeah.
And we're not. We have the same challenges. We have the same struggles. And this podcast was about exposing the insecurities of ourselves, of not feeling like we were adequate enough, that we're not beautiful enough, that you're not powerful, that you don't know, and highlighting the milestones of purchasing your first home and starting a community and passing and going back to school and starting that business and getting your education, your degree and those things, and having a safe space to say, we understand you.
Yeah.
The world, even as corrupt as it seems, it's more of us out here. It's more good in the world than it's being highlighted. It's more good cops that's being highlighted. It's more good teachers. It's more leaders that is being highlighted. Change. This is about changing the algorithm.
That's it.
Changing
what we
it.
see.
The same God that was in 1902, the same God that was with Adam and Eve is the same God who is here now, and he will forever and always be. And regardless if you have a mentor or not, he can be that for you.
Yeah.
We are here. I am not, we said it this morning, I am not who I was.
Oh, we.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm not her.
No.
I have evolved, regardless if anybody ever tells me that.
You haven't. You have.
I know that I am not her. I am another version, a 2.0 of her. And I have so much more to grow into.
Mm-hmm.
And us highlighting those things in this episode, to still feel like we have moments. You have a moment, those 364 days, here's that 300th day where you feel like, am I enough?
Yeah.
But knowing that 37 or 28 is coming, that highlight, you can celebrate the in-between, how you got to where you trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I am grateful.
So grateful.
I am grateful. But if you get around, that's why the Bible says if 2 or 3, you don't need 2, you only need 1 extra person. And if you don't have that person, we will be that community for you.
Yeah.
That can say, get your butt up, girl.
And keep going.
Or be that person for somebody else. Because you can only go so far alone.
Sometimes you got to be who you desire, and then that'll draw. Once you start there and say, well, I need a community, well, be the first person to say, hey, is anybody out there experiencing anything? Trust me, that one person is waiting on that one person.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got to be that one person. Yeah.
I am proud of us.
Yeah.
If nobody tell us.
Proud of her. That's
I'm
what we
proud
say.
of her.
Proud of her.
I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
And these momentary light afflictions cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed. And I know that he is proud of us.
Yeah.
The big he. The big G-O-D.
I would say so.
And we got so much more.
Love you.
Love you more. Well, got me crying on this podcast, Lord. Y'all got me. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, in herself, she is loved.
In herself, she is beautiful. In herself, she is strong.
See you next week.
See y'all next week.